What's going on, you guys? I'm Mitchell with Mitchell's Lawn Care here in High Point, North Carolina. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're a loyal subscriber, welcome back to the channel. As the title suggests, this is all about employees. And there is a lot to know, a lot to learn, and you're not going to get it all from this one video, but I do hope that it helps. And this is all based on my experiences over the last 4 years, or the 4 years that I was full-time. So without further ado, let's dive on into this. Alrighty, first off, thanks so much again for tuning in, and to those that showed support on the video for giving back to the homeless that I posted a few days ago. Thank you so much for all your feedback and support on that post. It means a lot to Hannah and I. Okay, fast forward to now. I should be out recording a video on trimming hedges, but the weather was not conducive for that today, so I am inside in my office recording another educational video for you guys. Okay, and I'm just like reaching into the toolbox of my experience when I was full-time and just over the tenure of my business, and things that I've learned and mistakes I've made that I can give you. Okay, and this is completely 100% free. All you got to do is tune in. If you appreciate that, give the video a thumbs up. I'd greatly appreciate it. But anyways, today is all about employees, and if you're wanting to go full-time, it's a possibility that you may need employees. If you don't want to do the solo owner operator, you want to build off of that and expand, you're gonna need employees because there's only so much work that you, the one person, can do. That's a no-brainer, right? So I have got 6 steps or 6 things that I deem are very important. Some of them you can't get around, but that are very important when dealing with employees, you know, the application process, finding them, etc., etc. Behind the camera is my whiteboard. Okay, so if you see me looking up, I've got those 6 topics written down there on the whiteboard, so I stay on track and don't forget. Okay, so let's not waste any more time, and diving in to the very first topic is, in order to have employees, you've got to find them, correct? So there's 3 things that I used or did in order to find employees. Okay, one is word of mouth. You know, people that you may know that, you know, may need employment or whatever, or a friend of yours, coworker, neighbor, family, whatever, may know of, you know, John Doe, Jane Doe that is in need of a job and you're hiring. So word of mouth. And the second one is ads, you know, putting out an ad, you know, newspaper in the classified section, Facebook, Instagram, you know, any social media platform, and, you know, magazines, hanging up flyers in gas stations, advertising that you are seeking employment, that you, not seeking employment, but that you are hiring and looking for employees. Okay, so that's the second way that I used to find employees. The third and last thing that I did to find employees was go into the job placement agencies. You know, the agencies that have got a pool of people that are looking for jobs that they're trying to place, you know, in fields that they want to be in. Okay, so that's another way. So word of mouth, ads, and job placement agencies. Okay, second point with employees is interviewing them. Okay, so you've got feedback from finding them and you've got some prospects. Okay, you need to interview them, you know, pick their brains, see where they're coming from, see you know, what it is that, you know, they need. That's very important with the job pool, you know, these days, especially if, you know, you're pulling from a thin pool. You know, it's important to know what their needs are and if you can meet their needs, because if you can't meet their needs, you're not going to retain them. Okay, so the other part of that is your needs. They need to know your needs, which is also a no-brainer. So interviewing them and diving into all the details of what it is your company is looking for and needing, and what they're looking for and what they're needing, okay, and their experience. And do they have a driver's license? Do you even need that? Or do they have transportation to work? On and on and on and on. So there has to be an interview process, and this is a great opportunity, to test out personalities. There could be a personality conflict, or any other thing. So step two is interviewing that employee. Okay. 3, if interviews are going well, I didn't do any paperwork until I thought that I had someone that was qualified for the position. If you're getting in 20, 50, 100 contacts, you may want to document some stuff so you don't lose track. But if you're only getting in a few, it should be pretty easy to keep track of contacts. But when I knew that I had a good prospect that might be an employee or might get hired is when I started the paper trail. Okay, so at this point is when I would do applications. Okay, and you may be thinking, well, where do I get an application? You can go to like Office Depot or Staples or any kind of office supply store and pick up these applications for employment, and they're pretty generic, so they cover all the things that you would need to know about a person: their employment desired, their education history. Some of the stuff is really not that important, but former employers, this is very important. Former employers. So references are very important. Now, we all know that someone filling out an application is going to butter this section up, where they're going to put people on there that of course are going to build them up and talk really good about them. Who wants to put somebody on there that's going to talk bad about them, or be that truthful? But you kind of need to know that stuff. So definitely contact their former employers, ask how they were, why they left. Did they leave on good terms? Did they burn bridges? What were their habits, good or bad? Stuff like that. And then you need to check up on their references. I required people employing with me to give me former employers, a minimum of 2, and then 2 to 3 references. And some of you guys, you might be thinking, man, this is kind of serious, just for lawn care or landscaping work. But it's not. We have a very high liability job, first and foremost, with the equipment that you're sending out, and trucks and all that stuff, the value of those things. Plus, being on people's properties, it don't matter the value of that property. It's the fact that someone else owns it, and you're putting someone out there that is going to be on it, and they need to know what they're doing, and they need to have the mental capacity to do what you're wanting them to do and not mess up things. Now, we all know accidents happen, but it is a very high liability industry. So you need to vet these people through these processes by checking with former employers and checking up on their references. Now, don't just stick with what they put on paper. If they put down line number 1, Jane Doe as a referral, line number 2, John Doe as a referral, when you are talking to those references, there's nothing wrong with you asking, hey, I know that Mike, he put you down as a reference. Just want you to, tell me a little bit about him. How do you know him? How long have you known him? Blah, 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 blah. And then towards the end of that conversation, throw it out there. Hey, do you know of anybody else that may, know Michael Doe that I could speak to? They may tell you to go fly a kite, or they may give you a name and number. And if they do, follow up with that person. Hey, I got your number and name from such and such. I'm interviewing Michael Doe here with my company, and I just wonder if you could tell me a little bit about him. Now, that's not the person they put down as a reference, but they may tell you something that their, buttered up references didn't tell you. And you may start to develop a bigger story and, hear some troubling things. Or it may, reiterate the fact that, hey, this is a good person, you know? So don't just stick with what you see right here, you know, do some investigative work, because it's, at the end of the day, it's your name that's on the line. Okay, so again, this is the application for employment, and you can get these at Staples, Home Depot. I'm sure you can order them from Amazon. I don't know, but this is just what I go with, okay? And in the comment section down below, anything that I cover today in this video, if you've got questions about something you saw, or you want something, just let me know in the comment section down below, okay? If you're enjoying this video up to this point and you're getting some good information, give it a thumbs up. I'd greatly appreciate it. Alrighty. I'm trying to keep this somewhat quick. I'm already at 10 minutes, okay? I don't want to be a super long video, okay? So we're halfway through, okay? Number 4, the fourth point is, you think you got a good prospect, someone that's possibly going to be hired. On-site testing and training is definitely important. You need to make sure that they can do what they say they can do. And if they can't, you either need to be able to train them, or if you don't have the time to train them, they're not the person for you, okay? If they say that they can run a weed eater, or they can run a mower, or they can do hardscapes, or they can do whatever, or they're certified in this or licensed in that, you need to make them prove it some way, somehow. Have them come out and work with you for a day. Say, hey, listen, you're not hired yet, but I want to do some on-site testing for the day. Are you free on Tuesday? I'll pay you X number of dollars, you know, to come, you know, work half day, whatever. Get them on site and see if they can do what they can say they can do. If not, you're going to release an unknown person out into the wild, and good Lord, you know, good Lord knows what can happen, okay? So on-site testing and training is definitely important, okay? Probably the most important. Number 5, this is the forms, the legalities and all that stuff. Once they're hired, you have an obligation as an employer to do things legally. And if you don't, you could be in hot water. I never paid people under the table, okay? You know, if I got to pay taxes, they got to pay taxes, okay? It's not fair to me to have taxes taken out of, you know, my money and them not, okay? So if I pay, they pay. If you pay, they pay, all right? With that comes, now every state may be different, but the federal government is not, okay? So there were 3 forms as far as the legal aspects that I had people fill out, okay? One is the Form I-9. This is from the Department of Homeland Security, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, Form I-9. And this form can be found online. It's very easy. You've got to get there. There's actually a packet that you can print out that lists all the instructions, but they have to pretty much prove by 2 ways, you know, they are who they say they are and they're a legal resident, okay? But Form I-9 is a federal document, alrighty? So they fill it out, and then there's a part on here that you have to fill out as the employer. The second is the W-4, the Employees Withholding Certificate. So this is tax related. And then here in North Carolina, the Employees Withholding Allowance Certificate, okay? All these forms are online. If you Google them, they'll come up and you can print the current year, okay? Now, this was a company thing, you know, within my company, but it was a legality that I spoke to my attorney one day that helped cover me in the event of, you know, something going awry, and it had to do with company vehicles. If you've got an employee that's going to be taking out a company vehicle, I highly recommend you having this policy and have them sign it, okay? And it's the policy prohibiting all personal use of company vehicles, okay? It's something I typed up, put my logo at the top of it, and had them sign it, and either I signed it or the supervisor did, which was my crew leader, okay? I'll read it real quick. Management has adopted the following policy regarding personal use of company-owned vehicles. Vehicles owned or leased by this company are to be used solely for company business. There shall be no personal use of the vehicles, including commuting to and from work. Individuals driving company vehicles may have occasions where an incidental stop is necessary between business stops. Such use shall not be considered to be in violation of this policy. What that means is if they're, going from job site to job site and they stop at the gas station or they stop at the restaurant to get something to eat, that right there is not technically personal use of the vehicle. Okay. The company requires that vehicles not in use shall be parked in designated areas on the company premises. You can change this to be however you want. No personal items are to be stored in the vehicles. Company materials and supplies are to be secured in the shop, lock boxes, or within the company office. Keys are to be returned to designated areas upon the close of business each day. And then there's a place for the employee to sign and a place for the employer to sign. Okay? The supervisor. All right? If this is something that you would like, I can gladly send it to you. I don't care. It will help you out. I promise. Okay, so that's the boring documentation and forms part. Last, incentives. Number 6. Number 6, incentives. Okay. This is the last point, and then the video will be over. Hopefully, you're getting something out of this. If you are, give it a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Okay. Incentives. Just because you find a good employee, they're a hard worker, blah, 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 you need to always keep in mind that these are human beings. Treat them as such. There were some times that, I treated employees in ways that, I wouldn't want to be treated. I was a little harder on them than I should have been. You need to have patience and be understanding and be accepting that they have lives outside of work also. They may be married. They may have kids. Everybody has a life to live outside of work, doctor's appointments. I'm not going to go into all that. So you need to be respectful that, they may have things that they need to do that conflict with work. Now, it is up to them to communicate that with you so you can plan accordingly. But, you need to be respectful of that. Okay. But where I was going with this is incentives. This helps with retention. Okay. There need to be incentives for working with you. It's not just the fact that, oh, well, I give them a paycheck. That's their incentive. I'm sorry, but it's not. This is, the green industry, unfortunately, a lot of employees, it's like a revolving door, but if you can offer incentives to retain them, that goes a long way, whether it be like paid time off, company, a cell phone or something to use, or, random acts of kindness like gift cards. I did that. I would give salary employees like, paid time off. The random gift cards, random acts of kindness, they go a long way. Who wouldn't love to come back to the shop, after working all day and have a $40, $50 gift card to take their girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, family out to dinner, or use however they want. I would randomly do that. Or toss a gift to them. Hey guys, here's a, Arctic Yeti, whatever brand coffee mug, But random acts of kindness go a long way because it just shows that you appreciate what that employee is doing. Another incentive is I tried my best to provide ways and means by which guys that worked for me felt as though they were part of the team. It wasn't just, me the boss, me the owner, them the employee, the hierarchy thing. I tried to make it a team. And by that I mean, I never ever told them to do anything that I wasn't willing to do myself. If I'm going to tell somebody, hey, go shovel crap for 8 hours, I would never tell that person to go shovel crap for 8 hours unless I was willing to do it right beside them. Okay. And keep that in mind. And that's just like good management skills. But making an employee feel like they are part of something bigger can go a very long way. With that, that is steps 1 through 6. I hope this information helped. If you've got any questions or comments, let me know in the comment section down below. If you've got some tips or pointers that you can offer up for people that may be viewing this video, let them know down in the comment section below. I'll throw up a card on the screen that is the video that prefaced this one. So you want to be full-time from part-time and two things that you need to know, okay? If you haven't viewed that video, I'll throw up a card, which is a link to that video, okay? So this is the second part in this little series that I'm doing, going from part-time to full-time, okay? And you may already be full-time, you don't have employees, but this may help you, okay? So if you got anything out of this video today and you stuck with me this long, I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Give it a big old thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, and this is the second or third time that you've seen one of my videos, that's someone trying to tell you that you should subscribe. So I greatly appreciate it. Hit that little bell so you know the next time that I upload a video. As always, I appreciate your support. I can't thank you enough. We'll see you next video.